Hello, and welcome to A Word of Hope on Thursday of the 7th week of Easter. Following the Feast of Ascension last Sunday and the upcoming Feast of Pentecost this coming Sunday, we have great readings that come to us from the Acts of the Apostles. I'm going to be with you for 3 days, and all 3 days are going to focus on bearing our crosses. Pretty important message in this day and age. From the Acts of the Apostles today, we've got Paul, who's in Roman captivity, and the commander of Paul, and who's holding him in captivity, doesn't know what he's being charged with. So he takes him back to the Jews. And all of a sudden, Paul is talking to the scribes, and he's talking to the Pharisees and the Sadducees, and they're divided against each other. And they get into a big fight. And all of a sudden, the commander of the Romans goes and rescues Paul from his own people, fearing that they were going to tear him to shreds. And he takes him back to his place of captivity and under his guard. It reminds me of that's the cross Paul had to carry, preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ. And it reminds me that we all carry crosses, right? Can't we identify with that? And yet we need to hear what Jesus says, what the Lord says to Paul at the end of today's reading. It says, "Take courage, for just as you have borne witness to my cause in Jerusalem, so you must bear witness in Rome." The call to always bear witness was Paul's, and it's ours. And even though we have crosses, some of them are personal crosses, some of our crosses are much bigger than personal crosses. They're crosses for the sake of the gospel. They're crosses for the sake of the good of the world. Many of my friends today are bearing crosses about abortion and praying for the lives that are lost through abortion. Many of my friends today carry the crosses of wishing for stronger gun control in our country, because of what has happened in Buffalo and in Texas. And they carry the burden of those crosses. Many who I know today carry the burden of the cross of wishing that there would be an abolition to nuclear weapons. And as we see this raging war in Ukraine, aren't we afraid of the weaponry that we have built up in the world? People are carrying all these crosses, just like Paul was carrying his cross. And just like Paul was almost torn to shreds, sometimes our people feel like they risk being torn to shreds because our ability to dialogue and debate has become so weak and so poor. My friends, we all have heavy crosses to bear, some of them personal. Many of us carry crosses that are much bigger than personal. And so I ask you today to consider your crosses, to consider what you bear, and to ask a question. In addition to being about you, are they about the gospel? Just as Paul's was. No matter what he endured, his biggest cross was always about the gospel. May it be so with us as well. God bless you.